and welcome to Curry TV. So on this episode, I like to introduce you to something my favorite snack or an appetizer that you might want to call. So this is called beef cutlets. It's very traditional Kerala dish. It's very easy to make, but the process is a little bit, there's multiple stages that you have to go through. So the first stage is getting your beef cooked well and shredding them into pieces. So I have beef sirloin steak ready, all chopped up, ready to go, because I'm going to be mincing later on, so it's all into small pieces. That's in the cooker. Now, next thing is, when you choose your beef, you need to make sure there's no fat in there, because if there is fat, it's going to break out when we fry it. So that's a tip. Now, here's our beef. We need to marinate that with some salt. Now, that's according to your desire. I like to add generous amount of salt in there. Okay, and we need a good spoonful of paprika or red chili powder, whichever one you prefer. Yeah, this was measured out. So 1 full spoon of paprika, good 2 spoonful of garam masala, homemade garam masala. We'll be adding potato to this, so don't worry, it will actually mild out. We need to flavor this with a little bit of turmeric powder, that is 1/4 teaspoon. Just there. Okay. Now I got all my dry ingredients in my pan, right? Next thing is we need to make fresh ginger garlic crushed and green chili in along with this, and marinate that beef with that freshness. Okay, so for that I have small to, yeah, you can see the sizes, right? It's about half of an index finger size. So that's ginger. I'm using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cloves of garlic, and depending on your spice level, you add your green chilies. So I'm adding about 8 green chilies to this, and I'm going to be crushing them, not to a fine paste, just crushing them. All right. Now I'm going to flavor my beef with lots of curry leaves. Okay, that's a good handful of curry leaves. Next, we're going to go in and get this crushed. See that? It's not fine paste, but it's well crushed. Green chilies, garlic, and ginger. That's what we need. We're going to be marinating that into the beef. Some things you just gotta get your hands wet. We're gonna marinate this beef. Note the point, I have not poured in any liquid. That's gonna come out of this beef. Okay, the stock is gonna come out of it. This is how my beef looks like. I haven't cut it into 2 tiny bite-sized pieces. It's just going to cook, and it's going to be in here waiting for me. You can marinate this and keep it on the side, or here's what we do in the house. I usually go for a massive shopping and get this nice big chunks, right? And then separate it out. I have 3 bags of cutlet ready. I will have 3 strips of beef strips, for fajitas and stuff like that. And I will have, the next size will be for beef olatida, which is that nice cube, small size stew cut type, or even smaller than that. So that's how we actually process our beef in this house. Now we don't consume that much of beef in here. It's just for our kids when they go for school or something, they need snack. This is a great way for me to get it ready for them. So usually what I do is marinate my beef like so, throw it into the freezer, put it in a Ziploc bag and throw it into the freezer. When I am ready, the night before, I'll put it in my fridge. That will get thawed that way, and I'll have my potatoes ready, mash them, grind them together, and then cutlets are ready. You can make that into cutlet or a beef burger. That's the benefit of having this. Okay, now this is all good. You can keep this aside for at least 2 hours if you want. I'm not doing that right now. Low on time, so that baby is ready to go. Let me wash my hands and I'll be right back. All right, so beef is already good to go. We're going to turn on our stove. We're going to cover this and cook. For this pressure cooker, I'll go for 4 whistles and then call it good. And we roll out. Okay, my work here is done. I just had to wait for 4 whistles from this pressure cooker. All right, so our beef has been cooking. After 4 whistles, I did turn it off, and then I had to do some errands. So I am back here now. Let's try opening. There we go. Haha! Look at all that broth. Okay, so from here, what we need is to make the cutlet. So the cutlet has to be in an oval shape. That's what it usually comes in. But if you have a cookie cutter, whatever shape you want, you can make it. Especially for Valentine's Day, you can make it into a heart. For Christmas, you can make it into a star or an angel, whatever you like, whatever your heart desires. So for that, we need to mince our beef. That's what I'm going to do. Into a food processor, I can dump all that meat in and then pulse it until it comes into a shredded form. So I'll show you how that looks like. All right, so I just got our minced beef into this form. As you can see, it's not a fine paste. You can still see its texture, that it's in a shredded form. That's what we like. So now we are going to mix all the next to the ingredients, which is the potato batch, with our minced beef. We're going to turn on our stove and get that going. So you need nice depth pan for this. Now what we're going to do is, I have some oil, coconut oil. I have some fenugreek seeds here. I have 1 onion diced up, very fine. Now depending on your spice level, we already added green chilies and garam masala and paprika in our beef. So if you desire to have more spiciness, then add that. All right, we're just going to be flavoring this onion and green chili with a little bit of turmeric powder. And then I have 3 red potatoes boiled and ready to go. While that is heating up, I need a handy dandy nice ladle that we're just going to mash this. We just need this in a mashed potato form. Okay, so our pan is nice and hot. Before I put the oil in, I'm going to dry roast my beef, making sure there's no moist in this. If there's moist, then it will actually break up when we actually fry it, deep fry it. That extra broth that was in the cooker, do not throw it away. That is good essence. If you're making beef something, you can use that. It has all the spices and ginger, garlic, everything in there. And I already added my green chilies and curry leaf in this. And when I minced it, that also got into a nice crush. So already it was in a crush form, right? That way it won't break apart. So it's been about 7 minutes, exactly 7 minutes that I've been dry roasting our beef. So next thing what I'm going to do is, I'm going to crush some fenugreek. Now this is just a finishing touch. Let's lower our heat so it doesn't burn. Just a pinch. Okay, that's just a pinch. Let's mix that. You should check your salt at this stage. I'm turning off my heat. Now I'm going to transfer this into a nice spacious area so it will cool off so that I can work with this meat dough. All right? Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm actually making a working station for myself. This is going to be station 1, and station 1 is going to rest right here while I get my rest of my ingredients going. Into this pan, we're going to put in a good heaped spoon of coconut oil to saute our onions and green chilies. While that's heating up, let's take a couple of eggs. Okay, and what we need is egg yolk in one and egg white in the other one, because we're going to be dipping our cutlets in the egg whites and then dumping them in, covering them with breadcrumbs. You do the shell to shell thing, you'll get the egg whites and egg yolks separated. You can use that for tomorrow's breakfast. Somebody will end up having double yolks in their omelet. So my station 1 is resting. My station 2 is on its way. We're going to beat this egg whites into a nice loose consistency. See that? That's what I'm looking for. So with this quantity, that's about 2 pounds of beef. With that quantity, you will be able to make about 15 to 20. It depends on how big you make your cutlets. Now, if it's for kids, they're small. If it's for adults, they will like nice, thick ones. So it all depends on what your heart desire. Do you see this? Our egg whites are ready. Okay, and our oil is all well melted. Next I need so station 2 is ready. I'm just creating a train here. Okay, this is Italian breadcrumbs. You can choose any one that you prefer. You can go with panko or plain, whatever your heart desires. I'm just going with a little bit of a seasoning in this, so we like the Italian one. Okay, nice generous amount. Station 3 is ready. Now, here's the thing. Don't rush it. We're going to turn on our stove. Okay, so our oil is nice and hot. Let's add in our onions. That's 1 big red onion. Along with, now this is according to your desire. If you like it a little bit more spicy, add a little bit more green chilies. So I like my cutlets a little spicy because when we add the potatoes, that will actually bring down the heat a bit. Let's saute this very well. At this stage, let's add in a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric powder. Not too much, just a 1/4 teaspoon. I need to flavor my onions and green chilies with a little bit of salt. Now we did add enough salt in our beef. This is just to get the onion and green chilies. We just want that onion to caramelize a little bit, just a little bit, and then we'll add in our potatoes and black pepper. Okay, let's add in some fresh cracked black pepper. Okay, now let's add in our mashed potatoes. Okay, let's turn off our stove. Now this mixture also has to cool down before we add it to our beef. It's very important that you don't make the balls right away when it's hot or even if it's warm, because there's a more tendency that it will break up when you're deep frying your cutlets. So let this chill and we'll get back to our beef in just a short while. Okay, so our potato mixture has been cooled down, our beef has been cooled down, so now it's time to put everything together. First off, I'm going to add my beef into this big bowl. We're bringing it back into the big bowl. Let's do half at a time. And then goes in our potato mixture. Okay, let's combine everything. Usually we just have all of us grab around this nook and kids and I make the cutlets or into burger patties and freeze them. Okay, good. Now let's do a final mix with the hand. Okay, so we have mixed our beef into the potato mixture. Well, now we're going to make into a bowl or the shape of cutlets. Take a small bowl and then the palm of your hands, shape them. So this is the form that we should get our cutlets. So that's one. Let's do the rest and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, my workstation is ready to go. So I just made 25 cutlets. Now we are going to dip them in egg whites and then into our breadcrumb. Okay. So there's one, goes in, dips, there's the dip, okay, into our breadcrumb. Now, the breadcrumb, what I'm going to do is, I have already put 2 forks in. Smart, right? Right, so, there we go. Now if you take it and then you shape it on a plate, okay, making sure it's nice, perfect oval shape. There we go. It's like chicken nuggets that we get here. Yeah, something like that. So that's one of our cutlets ready to be deep fried. Let's do the next one. So into my egg whites. Right, shake off all the excess whites into the breadcrumb mix and then just dip them and cover with all that breadcrumb. Now it's good to go. I take it and then I shape it. Okay. There you go. Alright, so I just finished making all the patties into a cutlet shape. That's about 25 cutlets. Now if you want to make it into some of them into burger size, go for it. Some of them are a little thicker and some of them are a little leaner. That's because we have preferences in the house. Alright, I'm sorry. That's how I was able to make 25. If you were doing the same thing all the way across, you'll be able to make 20 of it. Alright, I got a nice deep pan with some oil in there. Your choice, olive oil. No, I wouldn't prefer the olive oil. Vegetable oil or coconut oil. Coconut oil is marvelous, but vegetable oil also will do. Okay, it's actually screaming hot. I don't need it that hot, so I'm going to reduce it to meh. The idea is to have this into a golden brown shape, right? Like how we get our chicken nuggets. So to test it, you just take a small crumble and just dump. It comes right up, okay? So that way we know our oil is ready. Now in goes, make sure you're placing your cutlets in there, not dropping. You're placing your cutlets into the oil, right? Placing, not dropping, placing. There we go. One more in the middle. I think I have one more space right there. Oops. Okay. Very good, right? Now, let that baby sink in and give it about 1 minute or so and then turn it over. So my heat is about 250 degrees, the temperature in the oil. So if you put it up to like very, very high, it's at 425, right? So this is about medium, I would say. So my cutlets have started turning golden brown. We Carolites cannot live without curry leaves, okay? So what I'm going to do is I want to flavor my oil with curry leaves, and that will actually enhance my cutlets. There you go. Fireworks. See that? It's holding its shape. It's coming into golden brown. And turn it over. The curry leaves are all fried. So let's take that out. Like so you do the rest of them. Not rocket science, right? I'm going to crank up my heat to the highest. When that is screaming hot, then I'm going to place them and then reduce the heat. So they will get nice golden brown. You see, none of them has, luckily, touch wood, thank God, none of them broke apart, right? And that's because we took precautions. Like so, you also do the same thing. You will end up having the fabulous cutlets. I completed our cutlets. It smells like festivities in here because when we have cutlets, it's usually used for like appetizers. You could use it as appetizers or snack, but our households use it as snack. Simple as that. And I usually serve it with a vinegar salad, a squeeze of lemon, and it's good. Shall we try it? I made 25 of them. With 2 pounds of beef, I was able to make 25 cutlets. So the ratio is, if you're using 2 pounds of beef, you need 3 potatoes. Red potatoes is what I prefer, but if you like roasted potatoes, that's also fine. It all seems same, the right. We're in business. You wanna know how to make it? Now you do. Make them, have them, and cheers. All right? Please share this among your friends and family. All right? See you next time. Bye-bye.